along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Good morning, Power 1017.
Good morning. Good morning. So,
Hey, what's
I
up?
wanted to comment on the Puff Daddy situation in Cassie.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's put things in perspective, right? Natural tradition. These guys, these multi-millionaire celebrities. This is their arena, so to say. This is what they do. This is what the rock stars did. Why we seem to be surprised by it, that's more intriguing to me. However, I believe, and I'm not sure how far you can go with this theory on the radio, it sounds like cocaine was definitely a factor. I'm not sure if anyone ever heard Puffy or know that he has publicly done cocaine, but this sounds like a traditional cocaine scenario. Hotel rooms, you need your privacy, the two-on-one scenarios. I'm guessing drugs was a very big part of this. But like I said, you look at the history of this is natural, right? Motley Crue. You don't think that was there? This is just, it's par for the course, is what I'm saying, guys.
So what do you mean he publicly did cocaine?
No, I said I'm not saying he publicly did cocaine, or if anyone else said that he publicly did cocaine. I'm not saying he did. I'm saying
Right.
I don't know if that was part of the drug, whatever they were doing with the women and prostituting with drugs, if cocaine was what they said.
Right.
But it sounds like it would be a classic cocaine situation.
So you believe everything that all these people were coming out and saying?
I believe every bit of it. I just
Okay.
don't believe they were victims. I do not believe they were victims. I believe this is the lifestyle. This is something that a lot of young girls and guys look forward to accomplishing or being one day. This is something that.
Well, what
you
about
leave
the?
home
Well, all right,
to
hold
go-
on. You said not victims. What about like the forcing against their will? And the.
No, I think that's exaggerated in my perspective, because how many times you have to be forced against your will to do something before you no longer put yourself in that situation.
At 19.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it didn't just happen at 19.
No, but I'm saying, like, I don't know if you can. I don't think you can say that. Look at the girls, like in the R. Kelly situation. Like they call it grooming. Where
Sure, and I do understand the grooming aspect, but So with that being said, grooming, I believe you have to be placed in the position to be groomed. They're not just someone have they are either seeking to be groomed, or they are put in a position where they take the opportunity to be groomed. No one's like out. I don't believe Puff Daddy was seeking or searching or villainizing or stalking these girls. I believe they took advantage of circumstances, which that's why I say I don't find them to be victims.
Like, kind of like they get themselves in this situation thinking it's going to be like this glamorous lifestyle, but then when they're in it, they're like, oh gosh, how do I get out?
Because we all know there's two sides to every coin.
But in that case,
I love my house. Yes, I love my furniture, but no one sees the work I do. You know what I mean? No one. I love my car, but no one actually sees that I wear construction boots and a shovel every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You get
like what
I'm
it takes to get it. Right.
Exactly. So in this scenario, yes, this is a common scenario because these ladies, young women, love that lifestyle. They seek it. They want it. And then when they get there, and it's like, oh, you mean I got to put on these work boots? And, oh, you mean I don't go to bed at 9:30? This is a party all night, and I'm introduced to multiple drugs for not just one night, but this is the lifestyle. You can instantly reverse right then and there. But instead, they embrace, and at that point, I don't believe they're victims.
So you don't think they embrace it because they're scared and they don't know how to get out, and because they're young and they.
So, Bill, you believe she was only introduced to? Let's just go back to, let's say.
Well, hold on. Before that,
lifestyle.
no. Before you try to make me try to convince me and bring me to agree with you, answer that question.
Okay, give me back.
So you don't think that that they get in this situation, they see what they have to do, and like I said, yes, they kind of want that lifestyle, they want to succeed, et cetera, but then they.
So you're saying bully mentality, basically, right? Meaning once they get into it, they're pretty much bullied to stay in it. They don't have a way out. There's no avenues that relieves them of their circumstances.
Sometimes when you're, 18, 19, when you're young and you have a 30-year-old man forcing them to have sex acts and you don't know how to get out and they threaten you. Yeah, and that's part of the grooming.
I get it. I just believe there's multiple people, and it's what, she was 19. She was very young. She wasn't, she wasn't opportunist. She wasn't lacking anything.
But again, there was a different time back then. We weren't so connected. We didn't have social media.
That is very true, Bill. That is very true. We did not. I mean, hell.
There was more avenues. Right? There was more avenues probably to get out of a situation in 2023 than there was in 1995. You know what I mean? So
I totally understand.
So
I don't know. I never said that it was right or wrong. I just believe no one is. You can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. So even when she found herself in that,
yeah,
even when she was in the thick of it, the moment it became uncomfortable or unwilling or uncomfortable, I stand by. She wasn't. They embraced it because they liked what they got from it.
And I hear you. No. I hear you on that, and I think we can agree to an extent. But I don't think at any moment, she could have just gotten out necessarily.
So I think a crime. I think a crime is a crime, right? So if Diddy was abusing her physically, that's a crime, right?
Right.
There's no way out of that. If he was hiding or covering up, that's a crime. So if that was happening, then absolutely, I am 100% on the same side here. But, how bad was she being bullied, or how bad? I guess the question would be, what was the pressure, Bill? What was holding her into this? Was it an addiction that she may have acquired? Possibly, right?
She did mention that in one of her interviews.
Well, did he drug her? Did he hold her against her will? Did he apparently put Cassie up in a hotel room with bodyguards and she couldn't leave because he blackened her eye and she tried to leave and he threw a vase at her running down the hallway, had glass broken. I don't think she could have gotten out at any time.
Wouldn't that be it? Don't you think you would never hear another story after just one incident like that? And let's just say if it happened once and we heard about it, it probably happened more than that.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. I would say she was a victim if she had got out of it right then and there, reported it, and seeked what she had coming.
Recorded it. She didn't have a phone. It wasn't.
Benefited from it.
It wasn't.
Report it.
Reported it to who? How? When? How did she get to the cops? He's got bodyguards on her. They're in a hotel. He paid the hotel to get rid of the cameras.
Basically saying she was held hostage.
Yeah, that was the allegation.
That she was held hostage. Now, how long did they say? Did they give a timeline on this?
I don't know all those details, but I do know.
Right.
Yeah. I do know that.
I think you guys got a good topic this morning, even though it's edgy, very edgy. I was surprised when I listened. I was like, ooh, are we going at Puff Daddy this morning? So I thought that was really good.
Hey, well, I appreciate you listening. Where are you calling from?
Selbyville, Delaware, man.
Thanks for checking in, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable saying that Cassie could be a victim.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so what are you saying here? That at any moment, he gives her a black eye or he locks her in a hotel room. At any moment, she could have said, hey, you know what? I've had enough. I'm ready to go. And he'd be like, no problem. Go ahead. Okay.
Gosh.
I mean, is that what you're saying?
I mean, when she finally did get out, they must have had some agreement for her not to.
I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure.
On what happened in their relationship. Until now, she's like, all right, well, I'm going to write this tell-all book.
Have you ever seen Surviving R. Kelly? That's what Jocelyn texted in. Perfect, comment.
I'm going to do an interview. And then he says, got to take care of this. They handle it outside of court.
Yeah.
We don't know the amount. I mean, it's rumored to be, what, $50 million, you heard?
That was a rumor.
So.
I heard a rumor yesterday, the day before, and again, this is just a rumor.
What?
Somebody's talking about $100 million.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't want her to talk. I mean, who knows what the amount is? She says she won't talk about the finances, of it, and
Well,
she
Cassie
won't
is
talk
moving.
about it anymore.
But I mean, doing that also relives everything. And she's married. She's got kids. So if she didn't want to do it because of that reason, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
But now others are speaking up. Others are coming out. The bodyguard's talking about it. It's wild.
735 texted in. Look at the ones that get abused by people with no money and still control them.
We talked about that.
Especially
women who are like in domestic violence situations.
Yeah. You can't just say, oh, well, the person should have said, well, I've had enough. I'm going to get out. And then they can get out on their own and everything's fine. You can't say that. You don't know the situation. I stand by that. You cannot just say, oh, they can just step up and say, I've had enough at any time, and it's up to them.
Well, because I think the bigger picture, yes, you can say, all right, XYZ happened to you. What do you do if a crime happens to you? And you're like, all right, I call 911. I get the police involved. Okay. So now you're removed from your home. Where do you go? If you have kids, where you live, the location, the schools, the money. There's so many factors, and that's why people stay, because they don't know how to do it, how to get out of certain situations. Right?
Yeah. 236. Well, she clearly has been out for a while, so why all of a sudden is she speaking on it?
Yeah, we don't know the trigger. We don't know what happened. But we did find out about
But
New
does that
York.
mean you don't believe her?
In New York.
Does she build up
had
enough courage to come out and do something?
What was it? A certain date she had to get it in by. Remember that?
In New York, they did have the law.
Yeah, the law. So, and it came out right around that time.
The law, yes, where
So-
they gave there was an act that was passed in New York, and they said for I think it was a month or whatever it was, or no, I'm sorry, it was a year. It was 1 year. Last November, they said, okay, from this date, November to November, it does not matter when any abuse happened. Doesn't matter. No statute of limitation. Don't matter.
Right.
We're going to give you 1 year to come forward. A year to come forward.
And I think she just made it. Now, again, they settled, but it was a few days before that date.
Yeah. That's one. The whole Jamie Foxx situation, which that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
We can talk about that situation. That's a whole nother. That's a crazy topic.
Yeah.
But the Jamie Foxx,
we touched on it, but it wasn't like...
Mayor Eric Adams had somebody come out in New York City.
I remember that.
That was another.
Yeah. That did make the headlines. Wow.
You don't know how much therapy she had to have to gain confidence to come out. Yeah, you're right.
And she mentioned that. She
You're
did
right.
mention that in one of her articles.
669. I grew up watching domestic violence. I stood up for my mom and stepdad at the time. Finally left after that.
Good morning, Power 101.7.
You're live on the air.
Yes, I'm listening to you live on the radio.
Okay.
Yes, and you're live right now.
Yes. Are we still talking about the whole P. Diddy situation?
We are, but it's kind of shifted over just into domestic violence in general. But
People
go ahead.
who are, in situations that they feel like they can't get out
Well,
of.
I didn't really expect you guys to answer, so I'm dropping my daughter off to daycare, but I wanted to chime in because I was listening to the guy that you all was just talking to about it, and I agree with him. I agree with him. I don't believe that they were victims.
At all?
No, I don't. I think that at some point it began to be too much for these women, even with like the R. Kelly situation. I think at some point it just began to be too much, and the certain things that was expected of them, they were just like, okay, this is where I draw the line.
So you don't think that did you see Surviving R. Kelly?
Yes, I did see Surviving R. Kelly,
Yeah.
but my thing is just like he said, if after one incident, maybe two, or whatever the case may be, why not come out? Why not come out? Why does it take for one person to be victimized or for one person to come forth with whatever accusations for them to hop on a bandwagon.
Kim Porter died.
I'm sorry.
Kim Porter died.
Yes, she
And
did
there's
die.
a lot of some crazy rumors going around
around
that whole situation.
Rumors
you know,
circling that Diddy has the power to do certain things.
right.
And what, like, I get all that. I do 100% believe he has something to do with her death. And I do 100% believe that he has something to do with a lot of other deaths of people that he's been around also. So I don't think they were victims. I don't agree that they were victims. I don't agree that the women involved with R. Kelly.
So at the point, all right, well, hold on. So at the point where you said, and I'm just asking, the point where you said it got to where they couldn't, it was too much for them, but they still stayed. So at that point, you don't think they became victims?
No.
So you think that even though it got to a point where it was too much for them, they still stayed.
I mean, even if the case
so
was,
what are they then?
like,
what are they then?
Even if the case is that, like, he threatened them, like if they wanted to get out and they wanted to leave, like you said.
Nope. They put bodyguards on them. They threaten them. They take all their digital devices. They're not allowed to have any communication. That's that.
So I mean, why is she not still locked away then? Why are these why are these women still not being held captive?
How do you feel? How do you feel about the term grooming, brainwashed?
I don't agree. I don't think that's victimizing. I think those
Okay.
I think those can be terms. Now, I'm not saying that those aren't real things.
Right.
I'm just saying that sometimes there are terms that can be thrown around to kind of help,
like too loosely.
It's too loosely.
Okay.
I just feel like Cassie, you were talking about how back when social media wasn't a thing.
And we weren't so connected. Like everything was right there at our phone, and anybody could get. People nowadays, they come up on a situation, they got their phones out. Like we see everything.
Right.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like Cassie hit the scene at a point where social media was starting to, her and Diddy became a thing when social media started to become a big thing, and it started. I feel like that was then. So I don't think that the whole comment that you made about 1995 and not being connected and not having social media, I don't think that goes. I don't think that goes with this situation. I think these women, I think they absorb whatever they can from these situations, and I just don't think that they expect to have to go through or to be faced with some of the things that they're having to be faced with. But
I also don't think they they meet each other, they're talking, they're getting to know each other, they're going out to fancy restaurants, they're getting dressed up. I don't think it's the first week that they know each other. It's this lifestyle.
Oh yeah,
I think it's they're
not.
building up to it, and it's all right, I'm an artist, I'm dealing with one of the biggest celebrities, right? And you're starstruck probably, and you're an artist, and you're in it, and you're going along with this lifestyle, and maybe they had a relationship and they were really into each other, and then with that lifestyle it continues to get deeper and deeper, and they're like, oh, are you in? Are you really in?
Okay, but based off of exactly what Jessica's saying, based off of that, Jess, is that
and then
all
slowly
part?
it starts with the party, and slowly it starts with hotel rooms.
Because
slowly it starts with
that
bringing
the way
other people around.
Is that part of the grooming? Is that part of the brainwashing? Is that how they get them? Is that how they play that psychology where they work their way up to that?
No, I don't think anybody was brainwashed. I just think she got to her point where she was like, okay, this is too much, or as she found a boundary. She absorbed what she could from the situation, and she found a boundary. And when she set that boundary, this is what it's come to. But I don't think I cannot say that she was a victim. And as a victim of domestic violence. When I wanted out, I got out. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't wait. I didn't wait to gather information. There's no information to gather for, something that's happening to me in the now. You know what I mean? Like, so I just kind of feel like these women target these men after they don't receive exactly what it is that they want from these men or from these situations. But grooming and brainwashing, like, I think that's a stretch. I think those terms are a stretch.
I mean, these big celebrity situations, money definitely is a big factor.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm not saying that, like, he was right in anything that he did.
Well, that was gonna be my last question for you.
Absolutely.
Do you think that Cassie deserves the some redemption for what happened to her,
closure, and like this amount of money that apparently she received?
I mean, or do you think, well, nope, she knew what she was doing, she got into it, that, and do you think Diddy should be punished for this? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think Diddy should be punished for certain things, but I think that Cassie and any other woman that's been through this, like, you shouldn't, if this is about your mental, and if this is about, healing yourself from whatever traumas you've experienced, I don't think it needs to be publicized. I think that's like self-work that you need to be working on a private level. I just don't, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't
when you
agree
say,
with the whole,
sorry,
when I say what?
No, when you say when you were able to get out, how did you do it? Because I know there's somebody listening right now that says, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get out.
I fought my way out. I exhausted all options. I screamed. I fought, and I mean, I'm not going to lie. I can just be transparent and say, there were times where I was afraid, and there were times where I still went back. But when I got out, I got out. When you want out, when you want out, you're going to, your brain is you're gonna use your brain to get out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like fight
it's
and flight.
Instinct.
Yeah, you figure it out. Yes,
the survival instinct kicks in, and you know what I mean. I just feel like anybody has that survival instinct to be able to get out. I don't think I don't think it's that easy. And not for someone for me, a regular person. I don't think it's that hard for a person that has power and has money. I feel like she has power and she has money. We're talking about him like she has power and she has money also.
So, okay, well, first off, let me just tell you that, you're very brave, and, we appreciate you, and we're happy you got out, and, we're with you. That's the first thing. So at this point, though, speaking of the situation with Diddy and Cassie, at this point in 2023, should anything else, like Diddy's losing sponsorships, he's stepping down from being the CEO of Revolt. He's got all these other women coming out. Should anything else happen to Diddy at this point then? Should we cancel Diddy? Should we cancel?
I don't want to go deep. But I feel like whatever this is, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And whatever this is, these allegations that are coming out and stuff, I just feel like it's catching up to him.
Okay.
I just feel like, certain things that he's done over the years is just fine. There's been somebody, bold enough, or maybe with more money, or maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know what, it gets fuzzy, the industry and all of that kind of stuff. And, who has more money and who has more power and all of this and that. I just think that certain things are catching up to him, even all the way back down to artists that he's managed, Usher and Biggie and just a lot of things that have surrounded the bands and how he tampered with those people's lives and their careers and threw them away, and I just feel like certain things are catching up to him. So maybe this is the universe's way of giving him his karma.
Well, I ain't stopping to look. I'm not gonna stop playing Biggie. I just want to let y'all know that.
No.
right now. Look. I ain't never stopping playing Biggie. I don't care what y'all say.
We acknowledge is Wallace. And that's what's gonna stop this.
Right. That's hey. Look, that's the only king of New York that I know.
Absolutely.
Hey, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Salisbury, Maryland.
All right. Well, thank you so much for checking
Thank
in.
you
We
so
really,
much.
really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for listening to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you listening.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's 9:33. It's a Bill and Jessica show.
The voice